Hello everyone, welcome to CSC Core Concepts. In my new series of machine learning algorithms, in this series I am going to discuss about various algorithms of machine learning. How to implement these algorithms will be depicted in RStudio and how to interpret the results from the programs that we are going to discuss. But before jumping into each of the machine learning algorithms and see what are the uses of them or how they can be implemented, I wish to introduce you to machine learning as of to understand what is basically machine learning. Now, these are some of the jargon words which we have been listening to now very commonly, that somebody is an expert in artificial intelligence, you require machine learning, you require deep learning, you have to understand data science in order to become a data scientist. Now, first, let us understand what do these means. Okay, what is the similarity, or more precisely, I would emphasize on what is the difference between these all terms: artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and data science. So let us start with the higher domain, that is the bigger domain, that is the artificial intelligence. So, what is actually artificial intelligence? It helps the machine to think without any human intervention. So we know AI based tools, AI based softwares where the human does not have to do anything. It will be automatically done. A robot will prepare food for you automatically, or you can use your chat GPT to create a presentation. So these are all AI based tools. Now, what is the final goal of any project here is to make an AI application. Now, in order to make that AI application, you may either use machine learning or you may use a deep learning application. So, for that, you need to understand what is the difference between machine learning and what is the difference and deep learning. So, an application of AI can be example of a self-driving car. Right. So any application which you consider smart application nowadays, what does it make it smart? You have heard about smart appliances, smart TV, smart refrigerators, smart washing machines, smart air conditioners. So what makes them smart? That they can sense and work accordingly. So if the temperature is becoming very cool, then it will slow down, or if the washing machine does not have enough water, it will not start. So this is the ability of that machine itself to think, that what makes it smart, right? So basically these are nothing but your AI applications, that is artificial applications. So AI is the bigger domain. Then comes the in AI, the smaller domain, the subdomain is machine learning. So machine learning is one of the parts of artificial intelligence. You cannot say machine learning is equal to artificial intelligence. In order to make an artificial intelligence project, you may or may not use a machine learning tool, right? So what is machine learning? So machine learning, this figure depicts itself. See, you are going to have some statistical tools to explore and analyze the data. We will have lots of data, right? The retail industry, the manufacturing sector, they generate lots of data. Now, to understand or to integrate some meaningful information from the data, you need to explore that data. Now, let's say, for example, you can see in this figure, a figure has been given. It is, as a human, we see and we understand it is a car. Now, how do you know it is a car? Because you can identify by the shape of the car. You can see there are windows, there are wheels. So, using our natural intelligence, we feel that since wheels are there, this is a moving object. It is bigger in size than a scooter, so obviously it is a car, it is covered. So, these are the features or these are the attributes which help us to understand whether it is a car or whether it is any other vehicle. This is what a normal human intelligence would do. But if I want the machine to recognize whether it is a car or not, then I will have to make the machine learn about these features. I will repeatedly tell the machine every day, see that if you have four wheels, if it is covered, if it is bigger in size, if it has a steering, these all features make it a car. Understood. So now this car, now repeatedly telling, now this every day will let the model learn. Understood. So now these features, what I told you, that four wheels should be there, covered, front glass, steering. So these are what the features. Now these features are to be extracted by the human beings, right? I as a scientist, or I as a developer, or I as a machine learning programmer will find out the features which will help my algorithm to learn. Understood? So this is what is machine learning, that the features of the object will be extracted by the humans and it will be given to my algorithm. So this classification is nothing but an algorithm. We will see in my later part of the videos. So they will be fed in the algorithm and then it will give us an output whether it is a car or whether it is not a car. Understood? So this is how the machine learning works. And then a subset of the machine learning is your deep learning. So what happens in deep learning? So if you see from the previous image and this image, what is missing? You can see the human is missing in deep learning. So in machine learning, the human being is being made to do the feature extraction, whereas in deep learning, that human part has been vanished. So how will the machine learn? By repeated inputs. Okay. Now say if you might have seen a newborn baby. Okay, so what does a newborn baby's brain has? It has nothing. It is completely blank, right? Now, as and when he grows, he sees the object. Now, if there is a red color object with which it can play, if it is a circular object, red color object, which it can play, it will slowly understand that it is a ball. And if it is a red color object which it can eat, it will understand it is an apple. Now, how did that baby learn? By repeated training. Okay, every day he has been going through the same process. So similarly, here in deep learning, they mimic the human brains. The way the human brains learn with training and more training, that was how in your deep learning, the neural networks learn. So they are called as a neural network architecture. Okay, so this is a multi-neural network architecture. How many layers we have? So I wish that in my upcoming other playlist, I am going to upload some videos on neural network where it will be more clear to you how does a neural network model work. Okay. So as of now, you can understand the difference between machine learning and deep learning is that, okay, machine learning, the features to be learned are being extracted by the human and fed into the algorithm, by which the algorithm learns and it can work. Okay. Whereas in case of a deep learning, the features are being extracted and are being learnt by itself by the neural network, multi-layered neural network, and it can give you the output what type of object it is, right? So now if you can see, so the superset is your artificial intelligence. A subset of artificial intelligence is machine learning, and a subset of machine learning is your deep learning. Now, what is then data science? This has been a very buzzword nowadays. People are enrolling themselves for various data science courses. This is nothing but they are the various techniques which will apply on AI, ML and DL. Okay, so if you have a machine learning algorithm and you are using some probability function, some linear algebra, differential calculus, statistical tools. So various tools are going to give you various types of results, right? So if you are using these type of tools and applications by which you can apply AI, ML and DL, that what makes you a data scientist. So I hope it is clear with all of you that what is AI, ML, DL and data science. So you can see deep neural networks have three types. Okay, artificial neural networks. If your data is having numbers, let's say stock trading or a database of a pathology laboratory where you are doing various tests. Okay, for diabetes checkup or for your BP checkup. So they are dealing with what? Numbers. Profit and loss statement, they are dealing with numbers. So if your data is number, then you will go for ANN, that is artificial neural network. If you have data is your images like geospatial data, satellite data, you are dealing with data, okay, like images, say you are giving 100 images of car and bike, and you are telling your algorithm to sort out, find out which is car and which is a bike, okay. So what is your data? The data is in the form of images, right? This can be used in medical purpose, such as you are given some images of tumors, okay, various tumors occurring in the body. So you have to classify the types of tumor. This is what your algorithm has to do. So in that case, your data is your image. So in that case, you will go for a convolution neural network. And if you have a time series type of a data, that over a period of time, say every day stock trading, so at every hour the price changes, okay, so that is a time series type of a data. So for that you can go for RNN, that is a recurrent neural network. Okay. So now why do we need to learn machine learning? That is the biggest question. Now the use of machine learning is for your problem solving using algorithms. Now see what is an algorithm? So an algorithm is nothing but you have a sequence of instructions which you will use in order to transform some sort of input to output. If you have a hundred sheets of data and you want to your output will be some meaningful information. Now why do we require this? There are many algorithms, right? Let's see, I am giving you one problem that I want to sort some numbers. I am giving you 10 numbers. I am giving you random numbers. Let's say 5, 8, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, something like that. And I am telling you to sort these numbers in an ascending order, like from smaller to the greater one. So you have various algorithms available. So if you have gone through my data structure series, you have so many types of sorting we have studied, right? Sorting and searching series, so many type of sortings, you can put your numbers in your Excel sheet and you can simply sort them. You can use your C++, whatever language you can easily write a sorting algorithm. So it's not a very big deal. Now why it is not a very big deal here is that because the sorting procedure remains same, whether you are implementing it in Python, whether you are implementing it in C, whether you are using bubble sort, whether you are using merge sort, whatever you are using, the sorting answer is going to remain same. Right. Yes. Now, if I am providing you 10 or 15 algorithms, which one should you select? The one which you should select is the algorithm on the basis of efficiency. Right. So, which is faster, which will require less number of instructions, which will consume less amount of memory. Understood? So, this is how you are going to select the algorithm. But let's say I am giving you another problem, that is sort the spam mails from the legitimate mails. Let's say, for example, I am getting huge. I am a professional in a company, and I should be getting many mails from my clients, customers, etc. But the problem is what I am facing is I am getting too many spam mails, right? And I am telling my programmer that can you please devise an algorithm for me which will help me in sorting out the spam mails. So whichever is a spam mail, it should go in my other box and important mail should come in my inbox. Now, what is my input here? My email document which contains files of characters. Here the data is what? Input data is your files which you are getting, and output you are expecting is yes or no, whether it is a spam or whether it is not a spam. So if it is a spam, it should be deleted or removed. Now the problem here is that the spam here changes from time to time and from individual to individual. Let's say, for example, I am very much interested in the apparels, that is clothes and fashion, right? So if some Flipkart or Amazon is sending me some mails regarding some discounts or offers, then it is not a spam for me. Understood? But I am least interested in stock market and share trading, then getting mails about share trading is a spam for me. But this may not be same for a other person who is more interested in share trading and least interested in fashion. So this is the difference between the earlier problem, that is the problem which we were facing with the ascending order. Ascending order, whether for me, whether for you, whether for your father, whether for your mother, the answer will remain same. But span will vary from individual to individual, time to time. Okay, somebody, like suppose if I'm learning, if I'm a research scholar, then I will be interested in reading journals based on my interest, not based on medical. I am not a medical professional. Understood? So this is why we require that we have to customize the algorithm. Right. So we will learn how to customize. We will make my algorithm learn from my activity. Okay, so the algorithm will learn from my activity that I will be more interested in and which things I will not be interested in. So I can devise a system such that the computer or the machine automatically extract the algorithm for this task. So we will see here the need, second problem, like if I am going to a superstore. Okay, so if I am going to a superstore and I want to predict that how many customers are going to buy certain products. Okay, if there is a new brand of a butter which is low in fats and etc. So now the shopkeeper has to find out where should I place the butter so that the people are going to buy more. Okay, so now the gigabytes of transactions are generated here. Okay, and every day selling thousands of goods and millions of customers. So you can imagine if you're going to a shopping mall like your Reliance Mart or D Mart. Okay, thousands of people are coming to the shop every day with hundreds of transactions. So this is your input. Now from there you have to find out the output, that which products are going to be sold most. Now these products which are going to be sold most won't be same for all outlets of DMart. Okay, if DMart is located in, say, let's say a very very cold place, Himachal Pradesh, Manali, Shimla. Okay, there the likelihood of buying ice creams will be very very less. Whereas the likelihood of buying a winter wear will be very high. And if you are having is staying in some place in a very summer dominating state or a city, there the likelihood of buying an ice cream will be more rather than a winter wear. Right. So it depends, it changes from people to people. So here your input is the lots of transactions. From there you can find out that what are the probable products people will buy. If I have a new, then you might have observed in your shopping market that whenever you are buying bread, so the butter variety is kept there, right? So that the likelihood of buying shampoo and conditioner is very very common, right? So let's say another problem that you want to make algorithm for face recognition. So face is nothing but a, it is an image. Okay, last time I discussed about a problem where the output was yes or no in case of email. Then in case of your a shopping mall, your input is the transactions. Output will change up depending on the location. Output is the product which it will give you. And now suppose your image is your face, like your biometric device. Okay. So face image is just a random collection of pixel, but every face has a different structure. Okay. So it is symmetric. So each face is have, everybody has two eyes, nose, mouth, etc. But the structure varies for each of them, and this structure can be read by the algorithms, right, or can be analyzed by the algorithms, and this is called as nothing but your pattern recognition, right? So where do we use this machine learning? So now by now you have understood that we can apply machine learning in various fields, like your data mining we can do for large databases. Now machine learning algorithms can be descriptive, which will help you to understand what happened. Okay, so if you want to understand what happened here last time, or what was the sales last time, so that is a descriptive analysis. And predictive means what will happen. Okay, so based on my past history, okay, if I want to figure out what will happen or what will be the sales, that is my predictive analysis. Let's say it can be used for product recommendation, fraud detection in credit cards, stock markets, image recognition, manufacturing sectors, medical diagnosis, telecommunication, in science for analyzing large amount of data in physics, astronomy, biology, web trend analysis, which websites are being used more, the customer searched for which products. So you might have realized if you are searching for a mobile in Amazon and then you are scrolling Facebook, suddenly you will keep on getting recommendations, right? So this is where the machine learning algorithms can be used. So what are the steps? First of all, we have to collect the data. Now data has to be prepared. There can be lots of raw data, good data, bad data. Okay, so we will have one class, we will have one video on the types of data. Then we will have to find out there are many types of algorithms. Not all algorithm is suitable for all types of data or all types of analysis. So we choose the model, we have to train our algorithm, we have to make it learn, then we have to evaluate how much it learned from me, and then we have to do some prediction and parameter tuning. So all these steps I am going to explain you in each of the algorithms. So broadly categorizing machine learning algorithms can be supervised learning, unsupervised learning. So in supervised learning, you have classification and regression. Supervised means already you know the classes like span, yes or no. So there can be only two classes. Yes, it can be span. No, it cannot be span. Now, if your data is a discrete data, then you will go for classification. Discrete means 0, 1, 2, 1.19. Okay, 2.19. Understood? You cannot have a red and black. You can have either red color or black color. Okay, you cannot have half red color, right? So regression is where you have continuous data like age. Age can be 1 year, 2 months, 1 day. 1 year, 2 months, 4 days, right? That is continuous data. So classification can be binary, multi-class, multi-label. Unsupervised learning may again you have two types, clustering and dimensionality reduction. And machine learning can has another category, reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning means what? You learn from your own, like your games, AI games, okay, tic-tac-toe games. Okay, so you keep on learn. So this is just an overview of the machine learning. So in my next upcoming videos, we are going to cover each and every topic of machine learning algorithms. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe to CSE Core Concepts. Here you will get a complete course on machine learning algorithms. Thank you.